The art of controlling emotions with Stoicism is a theme that highlights one of the most universal and profound questions of human life. In a world where we are constantly bombarded by situations that provoke anger, frustration, fear, or anxiety, learning to manage emotions is not just about well-being. It's about emotional survival. And this is where Stoic philosophy, developed over 2,000 years ago, remains remarkably relevant. It teaches us that instead of being controlled by emotions, we should seek serenity and inner balance. But how does Stoicism help us achieve this? According to Stoic teachings, the key to emotional control begins with understanding one essential truth: external events are beyond our control. While this idea may sound simple, applying it practically has the power to transform how we relate to our emotions. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus, for example, said that it is not events that disturb us, but our judgments about them. With this statement, he focuses on what truly matters: how we interpret what happens to us. Let's delve deeper into this concept. For Stoics, external events are neutral by nature. Imagine you're in a traffic jam. This in itself is neither good nor bad. It's just a situation. However, it's your interpretation of the situation that will determine how you feel. If you believe you're wasting time, that it's unfair, or that it's an affront to your schedule, the result will be frustration and anger. On the other hand, if you see traffic as something beyond your control and decide to use this time to listen to music or an interesting podcast, the experience becomes less troubling. In this sense, Stoicism teaches us to practice a form of emotional detachment from events we cannot change, which is essential for achieving inner peace. Stoic practice also includes focusing on our emotional responses. Stoics believe that we are responsible for our reactions, which means we have the ability to choose how to respond even in challenging situations. This perspective is a powerful antidote to a victim of circumstance mindset. When we stop blaming external factors for our emotions and take responsibility for them instead, we take a massive step towards self-mastery. To help us make this shift, Stoicism provides practical tools. One is the mental exercise known as negative preparation, or premeditatio malorum in Latin. This concept involves deliberately envisioning the difficulties and challenges we might encounter throughout the day. For example, before a tough meeting, you can imagine facing criticism or that things may not go as planned. By anticipating potential difficulties, you become less vulnerable to intense emotional reactions as you are mentally prepared to handle them calmly. Another important pillar of Stoic philosophy is the acceptance of fate, or the concept of amor fati, which means love of fate. This principle invites us not only to accept what happens to us, but to embrace life's circumstances, understanding that each situation has value, even if it's not always immediately clear. When we adopt this attitude, we stop wasting energy on things outside our control and begin to see each challenge as an opportunity for growth. This doesn't mean we should be passive or complacent. Rather, it's an active attitude of acceptance. A practical example would be someone who loses a job. A Stoic, instead of despairing or playing the victim, would use this event as a motivation to redirect their life, explore new paths, or develop skills they may never have considered before. Moreover, the practice of virtue is central to Stoicism and, by extension, to emotional control. Stoics argue that we should act according to virtuous principles, such as wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, in all circumstances. The idea is that by pursuing a life guided by virtue, we cultivate a strong and resilient mind. Let's say you face a situation of injustice at work. Instead of reacting with anger or resentment, you might choose to act with justice and prudence, maintaining dignity and calm without letting a temporary emotion stray you from who you want to be. This self-control not only promotes inner peace, but also strengthens character, making you less vulnerable to emotional disturbances. Now, let's talk about a Stoic practice called contemplation of death, or memento mori, a reminder of our mortality. For Stoics, meditating on the finitude of life makes us value each moment and put our emotions into perspective. When we remember that our time is limited, We become more selective about what deserves our emotional energy. The minor frustrations of life, which might otherwise upset us, become less significant. Traffic, work issues, or personal disagreements become minor when compared to the greatness and preciousness of existence itself. Another crucial Stoic principle for emotional control is the importance of self-discipline. Stoics argued that we are responsible not only for our actions, but also for our thoughts and emotions. Thus, practicing emotional discipline, that is, regulating and moderating our emotional impulses, is essential. Imagine you feel a strong impulse to respond aggressively to someone who has offended you. Stoicism teaches that by exercising discipline, you can replace an immediate reaction with a measured response, protecting your mental state and avoiding unnecessary conflict. Relationships with others are also an area where Stoicism offers valuable teachings for emotional control. Marcus Aurelius, Roman emperor and one of the greatest Stoic representatives, constantly reminded himself that each person acts according to their own understanding and limitations. Thus, instead of reacting with anger or disappointment to others' actions, we should try to understand that their behavior is beyond our control and that our response to it is a personal choice. This understanding not only helps us stay calm during conflict, but also promotes greater understanding and compassion toward others. For Stoics, inner silence, that is, the ability to maintain a calm mind even in adverse situations, is a practice achieved over time. By exercising control over our emotional responses and cultivating an attitude of acceptance, we become more centered and less susceptible to impulsive reactions. This inner silence is a state of peace born from the wisdom that we alone are responsible for our emotional well-being. And with this practice, we gradually detach from everything that unbalances us, which truly is an art. Stoicism is not a recipe for instant happiness, but a path to a full, balanced life where we are masters of our emotions rather than the other way around. Controlling emotions, according to this philosophy, is a constant task, but one that rewards us with freedom and inner peace. If you enjoyed this content and want to keep learning to apply Stoicism in your life, we invite you to subscribe to the channel and leave a like. Your support is crucial for us to grow and bring Stoic philosophy to more people who, like you, are seeking self-knowledge and emotional balance. Together, let's explore this path of wisdom and discover the true power of the mind.